Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Hope your day is going great as mine is. So today, I'll be sharing with you 1 Kings chapter 9, where King Solomon dedicated the temple to God. And he acknowledged God, he sought God, he interceded on behalf of the people, asking God to forgive them. And also, he repeatedly asked God to hear from heaven whenever the people pray. So today, I'll be sharing with you 1 Kings chapter 9. Let's dive right into it. So this time around, the Lord appears to Solomon again. If you can remember, I shared when God appeared to Solomon and it was in his dream, when God told him to ask him for anything. And Solomon asked him for wisdom instead of wealth or power. Okay, so let's dive right into today's reading. And that's 1 Kings chapter 9. When Solomon had finished building the temple of the Lord and the royal palace and had achieved all he had desired to do, the Lord appeared to him the second time, as he appeared to him at Gibeon. The Lord said to him, I have heard the prayer and plea you have made before me. I have consecrated this temple, which you have built by putting my name there forever. My eyes and my heart will always be there. As for you, if you walk before me in integrity of heart and uprightness, as David your father did, and do all I command, and observe my decrees and laws, I will establish a royal throne over Israel forever, as I promised David your father, when I said, you shall never fail to have a man on the throne of Israel. But if you or your sons turn away from me and do not observe the commands and decrees I have given to you, and go off to serve other gods and worship them, then I will cut off Israel from the land I have given them, and I will reject this temple I have consecrated for my name. Israel will then become a byword and an object of ridicule among all peoples. And though this temple is now imposing, all who pass by will be appalled and will scoff and say, why has the Lord done such a thing to this land and to this temple? People will answer, because they have forsaken the Lord their God, who brought their fathers out of Egypt, and have embraced other gods, worshiping and serving them. That is why the Lord brought all this disaster on them. So God appeared to Solomon the second time, and he gave him a warning. After King Solomon prayed in 1 Kings 8, interceding on behalf of the people and warning them about consequences if they do not serve God. God told him here that he's heard his prayer, that he will reject the temple and he will make the temple a ridicule to people who pass by if they do not obey his commands. So as always, I have two key lessons for us to learn from this chapter. The first one, faithfulness to God is essential for lasting blessing. God reminds Solomon that his blessings are conditional on obedience. Even a wise and blessed leader like Solomon is warned that turning away from God will bring consequences. This highlights the importance of consistent personal faithfulness, not just initial devotion. There is always a repercussion or consequences when we disobey God. God is saying the same thing today. When we're serving God and living for God, we need to walk in obedience. When we love him, we honor him. We are consistent in our relationship with him. And God is forever faithful. And we also need to be faithful to him by living an upright life to honor him. The second key lesson here is God honors his promises, but he also holds his people accountable. God's covenant includes both promises and responsibilities. While he promises to establish Solomon's kingdom, he also warns that if Israel turns to other gods, there will be judgment. This teaches us that God is both merciful and just. He keeps his word both in blessing and in discipline. Exactly. We can't serve two gods. It's either we're for God or we're for other gods. Other gods in our lives could be the things that we prioritize the most in our lives. It could be, I think I wrote some examples there. It could be career or success, money and possessions, relationships. Yeah, sometimes we place people, spouses, friends, children, or even mentors above God. Okay, social media, that is what is destroying so many people's lives these days. We have to control our time on social media, our phones. Intellectual education, yes. There's nothing wrong in you educating yourself, but when you put it above God, that means that comes first before God, then it's an idol. Entertainment, comfort, yeah. This could be distraction. When you pay too much attention on stuff like that, it could be other gods in your lives. Those are idols. Self or independence. I've got this. I don't need God. I can do it all by myself. These are all idols in our lives. So we need to be conscious of all these things and make sure that we put God first. And that was what God was telling Solomon here. If my people go serve other gods, then they are bound for destruction. And that would be the consequences. And thank God for God's grace today. But that doesn't mean we should take His grace for granted. We should be conscious of the things that we do, serving Him uprightly, honoring Him with our lives. Everything we do should emanate God's love. His presence should always go with us wherever we go. His peace, His joy, everything should flow from our hearts. The Bible says, as a man speaks, so is he. So we honor Him with everything that we are. So with that, I'm going to end today's time with God. So I'll see you next time. God bless. Bye.